This is a story that doesn't really have much to do with anything going on, it's just one I wanted to tell. This is the hopefully quick story of the very first time I bought a Lepin set. The date was mid-2017. With no job at the time, I was spending most of my days online looking for things to do. Some of the days I would find myself looking at different Lego things, wishing one day I would be able to do something with them. Now, I had been collecting Lego for over 10 years at that point and already had several UCS sets, but one of them eluded me. It was one of the very first UCS sets to ever come out, if you could arguably call it so, because it was the special edition Naboo Starfighter. Many people will say that this does not deserve to be a UCS set, and I kind of agree with that. While it is one of my favorite, it's also incredibly small, sitting at just over 100 pieces. Curious at how much it was going for, I opened up Bricklink just to see. It was definitely out of my price range. But I wanted to see if maybe I could find it somewhere else, so I started checking around on eBay and just generally online until suddenly I noticed someone was selling it for only $20. Now, I like to think myself not a fool, so that seemed like something that was just a little too good to be true. But still, curiosity piqued my interest, so I had to go and check it out. It was on a website called AliExpress, and something about it seemed rather familiar. I did a little bit of digging and everything seemed legitimate. The store that it was selling on had plenty of ratings. They were all pretty good ratings as well. They sold a whole ton of Lego things. The pictures were pretty accurate. They weren't just stolen from Google. And the more I looked into it, the more I was convinced it might not be a scam. So I decided that I was going to try it out. Worst case scenario, I was out $20 and a lesson was learned. But best case scenario, I had the Naboo Starfighter. So, with a little bit of caution, I put in the order and I waited. Time would pass and quite honestly, I completely forgot about it. It was the middle of summer and I had just started a brand new relationship, one that was going very well. Then all of a sudden, one day I went to check my mail and I had a package, something which, again, without a job, I wasn't really expecting. To tell you just how out of my mind the set was, the entire walk home from the mailbox, I speculated what could be inside and never once thought Lego. So once I got back into my apartment, I quickly grabbed my scissors, desperately wanting to see what was inside. And to my utter surprise, it was the Naboo Starfighter. There was no box included, it was just a bunch of pieces and the instructions. As quickly as I could, I ran to my table and opened everything up, wanting to build it right then and there. And I want to be very clear here. By this point, I absolutely knew that it was not going to be genuine Lego, and personally, I didn't really care. The pieces I had before me looked exactly like Lego, they felt exactly like Lego, and as I was putting the set together, it really did come together just like Lego. And soon enough, within no time at all, I had finished the set, and it looked amazing. For having only spent $20, the risk really did pay off, and I knew that there were other sets available too. When I was doing my research earlier to try and see if it was legitimate, I saw things like the Imperial Shuttle, the Y-Wing, the B-Wing, and others. But I also knew that I wasn't really in a position to afford them, especially without a job. But that changed very quickly when in October of 2017, I got hired at my local Lego store. While that is an entire story of its own for another day, I did have a very interesting interaction with one of my other coworkers. This was at a time when Lepin was really starting to become a big thing, and one of them asked me if I had ever purchased or used or seen Lepin. So I said yes, and I told them the story that I just told you. This coworker proceeded to laugh in that way that made it seem like I had just said something utterly ridiculous. So I asked him what was going on, what was so funny, and he told me that I could buy the Naboo Starfighter straight off of Bricklink that very moment for only $40. He was extremely confident about this, saying that sure, it wouldn't be new and it wouldn't come with a box, but it would be $40. Wanting to check this, because honestly, if I could get it for only $40, I wouldn't mind buying a real version, I immediately pulled out my phone and went to Bricklink to check. And then I started laughing, because of course there was no $40 option, not even anything close. I flipped my phone around to show my coworker that the cheapest option worldwide at the time was still well over $200. And I found it so funny how confidently incorrect he was about all that, trying to dig on me for a $20 purchase all over plastic bricks. It's been almost 5 years since then. I obviously no longer work at that store, and neither does this particular ex-coworker. I have absolutely no idea what they're up to, and quite frankly don't really care. But I do know that without that purchase, I probably don't ever get interested in the world of non-LEGO and all the endless options it offers. I probably don't start looking into the custom mocks that plenty of people are making and how I can build them and share them with you. And I definitely don't build a subscriber base of 5,400 people who are interested in what I have to say and share every week. And that is my story. Thank you all so much for your continued support over these last few years, and for allowing me to make the type of content that I want. If you want to join those 5,400 people, make sure you hit subscribe down below and like to see more videos like this one. Or if you want to support me further, you can always check me out on Instagram, Discord, and of course on Patreon, where you can join all these wonderful people and get shoutouts like Jonathan. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.